So appreciation becomes the important place to be on this journey to joy. But how do we get to joy? What do we do to build the bridge to joy? I suggest there are two qualities we need to be concerned with. One of them is service, and the other is prayer. There is no prayer that goes unanswered. Prayer is the answer. There is no prayer that goes unanswered. Praying in and of itself is the answer. Because through prayer, we inject God into the conversation. And with God framing that conversation, prayer gives us our answers. Service. When I'm being of service to you or my community or humanity itself, as long as I precede that service with prayer, God, let me be an instrument of your will. Then I can be of service to you as an instrument of God. And what are we talking about building, these building blocks to build this bridge to joy? These building blocks of service and prayer combine to create something called compassion. Compassion. In our separateness lies the misery of the world. In our compassion lies the world's greatest strength. That's what the Buddha said. The Dalai Lama said, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you practice compassion, you will be happy too. And Jesus said, without compassion, knowledge and ritual are empty. And what did he mean by that? During Jesus' time, the Pharisees were highly in control of the church and of the people. And the Pharisees insisted that in order to really get into heaven, it would be necessary for you to memorize the literature of the church, to engage in rituals on a daily basis. The Pharisees were so busy engaging in rituals and speaking the literature of the church that they barely had time for their own families, much less their congregations. Jesus objected to this. He suggested that all of that knowledge and all of those rituals would be absolutely empty of any impact on individuals or community without compassion. The compassion is the extraordinarily important link that gives us a chance to achieve joy. And what else did he say? If you want to get to heaven, act like that child. Act like that child. Susie Timmy was a 4-year-old in the body of a 17-year-old. And as fate would have it, not too many weeks ago, after I accepted this assignment, but before today, I was standing in the Oak Park Mall out in Overland Park. I'm rarely there anymore these days. I don't live in Johnson County. I don't have reasons to go out to Johnson County. I'm not particularly fond of that mall. It's a sort of modern-day Tavern Green that is sort of corrupted community, I think. But I was there anyway because we were shopping, and shopping is one of those character weaknesses I've not yet been able to get rid of. You know, all possessions and pleasures fall away in the presence of compassion and joyous service. That's what Mahatma Gandhi said. Well, I was there shopping with a friend, and I swear to heaven, I hear this voice. I just made a turn. David! It's Susie Timmy. After high school, she left the community and went to Seattle with her parents. They subsequently passed away. And in Seattle, she remains. She's there in a community home, works a few days a week in a sheltered workshop. I'm told by my companion, after my encounter again with her, that she still is pretty, that she's got a little less awkwardness now, a personality has really begun to express itself, and that her eccentricities are just not quite as difficult to deal with as they were at one time. But she had the same questions. Have you got your eyesight back yet? Where was I living? Have I been to school recently? What am I doing? She was happy. She was joyful. She was that child. Susie was mentally retarded in the mid-1960s, and then later it was developmentally impaired, and then developmentally delayed. I suggest the label that appropriately applies to Susie is developmentally advanced. At age 4, she never had to learn how to give up the joy and replace it with fear, worry, regret, dread. At age 4, she never had to worry about motives of somebody in a relationship with her. She never had to bring the burden of experiences of childhood that somehow might have harmed her because she just didn't experience those experiences like the rest of us have. She starts her journey to joy with joy itself. She is joy. And in that respect, she's not mentally retarded, she's gifted. Each and every one of us possesses that gift. Each and every one of us has in our heart the capacity to find and sustain joy. And I'm so grateful that Duke accepted the title that I offered today because it required me to go through these experiences. And I'm really going to tell you that I honestly believe I wouldn't have encountered Susie again but for the opportunity to develop this talk. So I ask you to look over the map. I'm not a metaphysician, not even a minister, and I'm not a cartographer, but if I were to define the legibility of community through the lines on this map, I would say it has nothing to do with legible lines drawn on a map. It has to do with the values you choose to paint on the canvas of your life. What is the journey to joy? The journey to joy is life itself. The experience that we bring to life is our choice. We can abandon tolerance and abandon patience as inadequate way stations where we can move along but not stop on this journey. We can learn to appreciate each and every one of us in this community, in this global community where we live. And although we may not like some people we can appreciate them nevertheless. And through compassion, we can exercise a kind of prayerful service that brings us the kind of satisfaction and happiness that is translated into nothing less than joy itself. So as we move into meditation, let's think about the canvas called your life. And let's think about the values that you're going to paint on that canvas. Into meditation.
So we take a moment to breathe in